Sounds good. Okay, let's see.
Welcome everybody to the weekly open hour. Woohoo!
Woot!
Get my little face and dance.
Been here partying and then realized we should record the party. So
should record this party.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Beautiful. Let me just arrange things on my end so that I'm so ready to do this incredible open hour with everyone. Let's see who's here. We said hi to Gary. Hi, Gary. And Wayne, I hope that you prepare a joke for the end of open hour because I'm counting on you. So I'm giving you plenty of notice.
No pressure though, right?
That's right. Let's see. Cody's here. Hi, Cody. I'm acknowledging you. Are you proud of me?
Howdy, howdy.
We got Jeff and lots of the core team. So I think we're ready to roll. So welcome to our community open hour. We love taking this hour every week to be able to connect with our community. I am the SALT community manager and your host for the hour, Janae Andrus, and it is April 29th somehow. April just zipped by. It's my birthday month, so I'm like a little sad about how quickly it went by, but that's okay. I'm ready to be less important next month. And also, if you want to know anything about SALT Project or find us or connect with us, we are always at saltproject.io. It is your source of truth for all the things, saltproject.io. And you can connect with us directly at saltproject@vmware.com. So if you ever want to email us, and if you have a topic that you would like addressed in open hour, always you can bring it up in the Q&A at the end. Of course, we give you plenty of time, but if you want to email us ahead of time so that maybe a member of the core team is prepared to demo something or address something specifically, or we can spend some time on it, please email us ahead of time, saltproject@vmware.com, and we will spend some time on what you want to spend some time on because this is your hour. So, and it's open. So SALT Project open hour, let's dive in. We are going to do our general updates. We've got a few, and then we'll do an update on our release timeline, and then the time will be yours for Q&A. So prepare your Qs, we'll prepare our As, and it will be fantastic. Okay. The virtual meetup will be next month. We do it every third Wednesday of the month. So next month will be May 19th. We do that at, I feel like it's actually 5 o'clock Mountain, and that may be my mistake. I feel like I messed that up. Sage is, I can tell, is checking. So, that is totally on me. So the virtual meetup will be next month on May 19th, and I'm excited for the topic. I just want to lock in our speakers over the next week before I tell you all the fantasticness that we are doing next month. So we have some fun ideas. Okay.
Yes, that's 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
My instincts are better than my slide skills. At least we've got that. So
yes.
I'm like, that's wrong. Okay, 5 p.m. Don't look at my slide. All right, and we have our docs working group today at 2 p.m. and that is correct, 2 p.m. Mountain time. And tomorrow at the same time, 2 p.m. Mountain, is our Twitch stream with Tyler on Item Cloud, and he does this stream 3 times a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 p.m. Mountain time. You can jump on his Twitch stream. It's getting pretty popular, so don't miss out. And of course, yeah, I mentioned the docs working group today, so feel free to join that. That's all on our community calendar. And of course, you can access it at saltproject.io. So, and the hacks is back. If anyone noticed, we actually didn't have a hacks episode last week. One of our hosts of the hacks, so the hacks is Chunga and Tom, and Chunga was in moving hell last week. So he didn't get a new episode posted, but he's getting settled in his new place and we're very happy for him. But the hacks is back this week, so yay. And we missed you last week and we're sorry, but the hacks is back, so you don't have to miss out. Okay, store.saltstack.com. For the 3rd week in a row, I'm telling you, it's your last chance for SaltStack swag. But But there is still some, and I'll probably keep telling you this for another month because there's still some there. There's some good stuff. There's like Patagonia jackets, there's laptop bags, there's playing cards. The Death Star posters are still there, and they're like $2, which is awesome. So if you haven't gotten a Death Star poster, like go grab one. It's $2 and free shipping domestically. And then there's international shipping. But if you're just getting something really inexpensive, by the way, and it's international shipping, please reach out to me and I'll get you a coupon code to minimize that international shipping, because that's silly if you're just getting a poster or something, because it's a flat rate shipping. Okay. Enough of that. SaltConf 21. So excited. Okay. We announced this a couple weeks ago, but I'll keep on telling you, November 3rd and 4th, it will be virtual. It will be a 2-day event. We're really excited. Our call for speakers will be open this summer. So be thinking about it, because we do have 2 days, and we expect to have a lot of people contributing to content. So really hone your stuff, because we really want as much of the community represented as possible. So I would love to give preference there. So be thinking about it, because that call for speakers will be opening up midsummer, and we're very excited about it. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me at any time. SaltConf is the baby of Salt Project. We just love it. So we can all talk to you about that, but come to me directly with any questions. And the release timeline, we're gonna have Sage the Rage talk to us about that. And I just want to say that I feel like we should replace this picture with like a really cool picture of Sage doing something cool in the future.
Picture of Sage doing something cool.
Go ahead, Sage.
What do I do that's cool?
Doing a backflip on the trampoline.
Yeah.
There will be no pictures of that ever again. Just for the record.
Sage broke her foot doing that, if anyone missed that story.
Yes. So I am not participating in our company, whatever Olympics, because Sage is still sitting around. Yeah.
Good, take care of it.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to do that, by the way. So
Yeah. So my shirt says, when in doubt, hike it out. And you should not listen to my shirt right now.
yes, I can't. Terrible. Oh, well. So just to talk about the release timeline, we are looking into the memory issue, and we've not been able to replicate it. So I am sorry that I don't have a better release timeline. I do have the release targeted out on the calendar for the 12th. That is not my favorite day for a number of reasons. If we can do it sooner, I actually would like to, and that may be a possibility if we can't replicate it, and we may move forward without trying to fix it. Although we'd rather fix it. We'd like to replicate it and fix that. So I'm gonna have to keep people posted. The 12th is a tentative date, and I will make sure that's in the notes and that people see that. It is on the calendar, so if you go in and grab the calendar, the latest out there, and sync it, you will see those dates out there, and it does say target release date. That does move some other things out. If we're going to go out to the 12th, all the way out to the 12th, then that pushes the date for the silicon release, which the silicon release was targeted for the end of June. And if we need to push that out because we're pushing out the point release, and we also want to get in some of that open source stuff that we've been promising forever, we may want to look at that date as, mid-July. So I think I have a tentative date out there as July. Oh, I have to look. Let me look. Like July 21st. Yes, and currently that's what it looks like. That may shuffle, but that's what that timeline looks like. So as those start to solidify and we understand those dates, I will also create a slide here like we've done in the past, where we can also show like, this is kind of where we're trying to hit feature complete, RC dates, code freeze, all of those things. But where it's up in the air, it's a little hard for me to make that slide right now, but trying to keep you guys informed, trying to do my very best.
Awesome. Thanks, Sage. Okay, so that is all we have for you guys from our end. Thanks for listening to us every week. And now we want to listen to you. So we're going to dive into our Q&A. So if anyone has anything they want to bring up, discuss, how does Tom put it? Questions. Hold on, I'm going to read it off his Tumblr. Questions, comments, arguments, or rebuttals. I love this Tumblr so much. All right, now's your time.
my first question, is the tumbler available to purchase?
It is, oh crap, is it up? I think it's up. I'm gonna double check and then I'll tell you.
I want a tumbler.
They're so great. I'm gonna double check while we wait for additional questions. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen this yet, this is the Hatchisms Tumblr. So it's all of Tom's quotes and they're a ton of fun. We talk about it in Salt Air. If anyone has missed Salt Air, it's on our YouTube channel. And we have whole episodes on different Hatchisms and things. A lot of fun.
I do have one question about what happens to messages from minions that are disconnected from the master. So, you know, I've got a network. If let's say a server doesn't necessarily go down, but for whatever reason loses its port connections to the master, and it can't send out event logs, are those event messages lost? Or is there a back queue that once it rejoins the network and sees the master that I can go fish them out from somewhere?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. If anyone on the core team wants to answer that.
I think everyone's muted.
You're gonna unmute first.
Does nobody know? That may be true. I don't know the answer.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to ask just to clarify. So you have a minion that is normally connected to the master and disconnects from the master. So any events that it's sending to the master, or any events that the master is trying to send to the minion?
No, any events that the minion would send back to the master during that time. And I think a perfect example would be like someone takes their laptop out on vacation, and so they're not on like the VPN, and so they can't get back necessarily over 4505 and 4506 to the main server. But you know, there's still beacons happening that we have scheduled in the background. Let's use that as a use case.
Okay, so in that particular case, it does retry for a certain amount of time. I forget offhand what the value is. It will retry, but eventually it will just basically give up, and those events are no longer queued.
Okay, that's a great answer. Is that retry? Is that number listed inside the minion config? Is that something I can look up?
Yeah, it's I feel like it might be even like event retry or something similar to that.
Okay, that's wonderful news.
Also, Derek went ahead and posted the link to the Tumblr in the chat. It is available on the store, so store.saltstack.com.
And let's say that for what, you know, I try to set my event retry to a high value. I probably want to be cautious about setting it too high, because then, you know, over a longer period of time, it might aggregate an even longer message queue. And I don't know if there's any danger of kind of flooding or crashing a buffer if the queue gets too long. But let's say for whatever reason that someone is away on vacation for a day longer, and so we lose, you know, a day of their messages. Those messages would still be stored inside of the minion log. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct, yes.
Okay. So then ostensibly we could grep the local minion log for a certain regex or something in order to pull some of that back out.
Yes.
And is there an execution module to read and mine data from the minion log? I've started writing one, but I really don't want to.
So an execution module to read in
to read data from the minion log and to like maybe clean it up. For instance, some things that I would like to do is, get the file size of the minion log, because sometimes we have very low process count max settings for ours. And so sometimes they kind of spin out with a message that says, you've used all of your max count, processes. And so I just get a bunch of logs that say that. And I've seen the minion log balloon up to like gigs, just the log file itself. So in situations like that, I would like to, be able to query the size of the log and then use a beacon to say, hey, that's too big, and I'm going to delete it. But the first step would be having an execution module that would do something like, give me the size of the log, give me some of the stats, how old it is, and then being able to do, one of the biggest ones I'm trying to do right now is just like get a tail function for the log that say, I want the last n lines of the log, which would help me troubleshoot other things. The other thing, once I can get that done, then I'll need to write like a log grep, function for the execution module. Say, pull out things that only, meet this criteria. So hopefully, because I'm hitting some dead ends, and hopefully my dead end is really just my assumption that this doesn't exist, and I can give up writing this all together, and someone will say magically, oh, you should have read this thing. And I go, oh, silly me.
I know that we have some file system modules that can query stuff like the file size, I think. So I don't know which module they are off the top of my head. I'd have to look, but I know you can find some of that information, but I don't think, well, at least I'm not aware of exactly what you want existing, but I think at least parts of that exist, and you could glue it together relatively easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for some of the things you're looking for, actually the file module has a fair amount. So like getting stats on the file, things like that. And there's probably something else in one of the other modules, probably tell you other bits like the file size and like last modified and stuff. So fairly certain that we probably have that support, but like Wayne said, like sharing Wayne's sentiment, I don't know off the top of my head which one that would be.
Okay. Yeah, luckily I was able to use Python to do, I have the function for getting info about it. So I have that taken care of. And now I'm running into a bug on using the _salt_ and then command.run in order to run a tail command specific for each operating system. So, but I'll follow up, and I'm posting in Slack about that now, so I don't want to hog the rest of this meeting of trying to troubleshoot that one very particular thing.
Yeah, I don't know the function offhand, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing something in the file module that will give you like the last n number of lines in a file.
Oh, great.
So
Okay.
somewhere in there, I'm certain there's something.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for your time today.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. And it's not our time, it's your time. That's what open hour is.
Well, you guys are very sweet. Thank you.
No problem. And it's everyone else's time too. If there's anything else that anyone else would like to bring up or be excited about, be panicked about, be curious about.
I'm excited about a new line of swag mugs.
I know, I'm so excited. Oh, dang it, it's not up here. I have the new mug and I was using it yesterday, but it's not sitting next to me right now. I was going to show you. It's pretty cool. It's got like an unfinished bottom, which I think looks pretty cool. So
Next time.
right.
I love mugs. I hope to increase my mug collection.
Ooh, I have a good mug collection too.
I have unhealthy mug collection. It's like,
There's no such thing. Sort of like too much chocolate or too much money, or there's no such thing. Too many mugs. Completely okay.
When you're in a family of 7, there's definitely a such thing as too many mugs, but it's also the same amount as not enough mugs. So
That's right. That's right.
Especially when it's time for milk and cookies, you need a mug because you got to dip the cookie in the milk and it has to fit the whole cookie.
It's true. I will like only drink milk out of a mug. I won't drink milk out of a glass. It's a weird quirk I have. So I have a mug and I will drink milk out of it. And when I have my cookies or brownies, because I don't drink milk unless I'm eating something sweet. I'm a weird person, apparently, as I'm saying this out loud.
No, this all makes sense. This is why I have mugs, milk and cookies.
That's right.
This is the purpose.
I totally agree.
I like to eat ice cream out of mugs too. They're the perfect size.
Well, that's a good idea. I have ice cream dishes
Oh, fun.
because my grandmother had ice cream dishes. 'Cause ice cream's important.
Ice cream is important.
ice cream is important. When I was much younger, I used to be very upset about the size of ice cream dishes because like a cereal bowl was much better. But in the intervening years, I don't know, maybe my lactose intolerance has gone up or something, but much more than about a cup of ice cream or two is like, I feel like I've made mistakes, bad mistakes. That much.
I just feel gluttonous. I'll just say it. I just feel gluttonous. But I also love Talenti. I'm just going to promote that right now. I have no ties to Talenti, but you should all be eating it. It's fabulous gelato.
It's so good. I have decided that I like good quality more than I like good quantity. So I will get stuff like Talenti and eat like 2 spoonfuls of it. And
Right.
Take 3.5 minutes to enjoy those 2 spoonfuls.
That's right. That's all you really need. So they say that your brain only needs 3 bites to really gain the full effect of that you've had whatever food. 3 bites.
That is intriguing.
2.
Do you know that Ben Franklin would never finish a dessert? It was his self-control exercise. He would always leave a bite on his plate of dessert. And so whenever I don't feel like finishing something, I just say, I'm just going to Ben Franklin this. And people are like, what? I just leave a bite. Just
Did Ben Franklin eat dessert 5 times every day?
You know, that is a little known fact, but yeah.
I was just going to say, yeah, that's self-control. I've seen like paintings and stuff of Ben Franklin. He had great self-control.
Right? This is the people who are good at practicing it usually need to practice it for a reason. So it's like they've learned these little tricks for a reason.
It's true. It's true.
So, you guys, this is reminding me that I have cheesecake brownies downstairs, and I'm really looking forward to that later.
Oh, I was gonna just bring up, I know this came up in Slack, and I just want to bring it up here, that the vulnerability for CodeCove, and that we were using CodeCove, and I apologize that we didn't put this in Slack sooner, that we did address this incident within Salt and where we were using it. Pedro put in Slack that we rolled any secrets and tokens where CodeCove was used, and we weren't really, our signing keys were not available on any pipelines where CodeCove ran to begin with, so we should be fine there. And I think that we're just looking at that internally more in case anything else is going to come up. We weren't using it as much as it may seem, because it wasn't actually really working for us. We're too big. Salt was too big for CodeCove to really handle. And so, but it did affect us, and we are aware of that, and we should have done that communication a little sooner, and I apologize that we didn't. It was actually on my list to do yesterday, and yesterday kind of came and went, and I got distracted on a lot of things because that was my day. Happens.
The waterfall of tasks.
So many things.
I had a similar day yesterday. It was one of those days where I kept a paper next to me, and every time I started to do something, I had to write it down, because I would start doing 3 other things. I'd look back and go, right, I was doing that. So.
Oh man, I had a day like that too. Well, so Janae and I met with the, I think his title is the head of community management for VMware. and his name is Jonas Roslin, and he's fabulous. And we were talking about some strategies, and we had this really great meeting. We have a bunch of stuff that we want to do with Slack, and really get some more information out to people, like we talked about last open hour, that we don't, like, the calendar is always a disaster. And he's like, yes, a calendar, forget a calendar. You know, start using Slack and using the reminds and using some of these other things that you can use that are a little more reliable. And I was like, we'll always have the calendar, we'll always fight with it, and we'll do our best to find something that's a better solution, and only change it once if we change it. And but to use some of these other things, and some of it's been on my plate for a long time, that I'm like, yes, I want to do this with the community. I want to rearrange some things in Slack and user groups, and how you can ping people, you know, just certain people that would maybe know the answer to something. And it's really obvious what that is, and have a, you know, when you come into Slack, you are automatically put into like the general channel. And we could have some things in there that say, hey, here's some of the channels you might be interested in. Oh, hey, this is how we use Slack. And this is how, you know, this is where our code of conduct is. Please read it, because we're going to adhere to it. And we need to write a governance doc and different things like that. And we want to do some of those things, but it got me all excited. And so then there were some other things I just never got to.
Yeah, we've been kind of buzzing about that, because you can have the default channel come into and see all the rules and guidelines and the roles, and just that quick reference within Slack. So we're excited to be able to do that. So, and did everyone see, Sage put a really great announcement in that if you got an alert yesterday that the workspace trial was up, that you're fine, Slack isn't going anywhere.
Yes, we were just doing a trial. We're looking at a paid version, and we are going to do that so that then we have the saved history, and we have some other things so that we can link more apps to, and have a little bit more control. And that is coming.
In about a month.
Yep, we're going to get there. And then we'll also start doing some cleanup. Heavily cleanup. Maybe we'll even do like a I wanted to say like a Slack jam, but that sounds like I'm talking about pants.
And yet, awesome.
Yet.
I mean, does anyone
Speaking
have
of,
beef about Slack or things they want to talk about? Go ahead, Gary.
no, I was just going to say, I know there was some discussion maybe a couple months back about whether the SaltStack Slack would be merged into the VMware Slack or not. So do I take it that that is not going to be the case if you're looking at going to a...
Not going to be the case. Yeah. So we're maintaining our own Slack workspace for the community. We won't be pulled into VMware. Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
asking.
right now it's, yeah, good question though. Right now it's just a free plan, and we're just looking to do a pay for plan for our active users with the new budget that Janae has worked so hard to get for our community, and it's awesome. And so that then we can have some saved history there and make that a little bit more forum-like. It's not really a forum, and I don't want to use Slack like that, but there's just a few more features that we would have there that I think we could really just, that'll really help us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kind of
exciting.
We were talking about, I said, what I'm thinking about the different ways people like to communicate with us the most. If they like to be on RIC, if they like to be on Slack, if they like to be, you know, on a Google group. Like I was like, what are people's favorite ways to communicate with us? Is it Reddit? Is it whatever? And then someone later, I can't remember who it was, we joked about like, oh, we should put a poll out. We'll put it on Slack and, you know, see what people like the most. I think Slack might win. So we'd have to, of course, put the poll everywhere.
Other places. Yeah.
Other places.
IRC, Slack, Gitter, Matrix, Reddit.
It's funny. We haven't been on Reddit, and I want to say, wasn't it SaltConf 2019 that we did Meet the Core Team panel, and that was specifically asked if we would be on Reddit, on the subreddit channel, and we haven't spent a lot of time there because it's kind of quiet. But if people are there and we're interested in it, we definitely can put more there. I think that it's a channel we haven't used to our advantage.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Wayne's leaving and he's not going to give us a joke. I'm upset.
Oh, I guess I can share it right now. This goes along with our little escalator logo, but you know, I never trust I never trust stairs too much. They're always up to something.
Nice. Good.
I'm very worried about the calendar. Its days are numbered.
Nice. And that is a very relevant joke right now. 'Cause we are switching it up. That's awesome. That was really good. Thank you, Wayne. That was awesome. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up while we're here and while you have the attention of the core team?
I will say that we are moving forward with making Salt Cloud an extension, a Salt extension. And I will check up on that, Nick. I've requested a repo for that and we'll continue. I'll keep you updated. That's moving forward. Should be very good. We have some others that are happening around and some that we're not even hosting. We know people that are in the Salt extensions in their own private repos that they've mentioned it to us. And so that's kind of exciting to see that it's sort of taking off, I think, in a good way. We are still going to do the group of groups. So the captains or their designee of the working groups can, we'll do it at the first Friday planning meeting. So that'll be next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday. And you'll see those invites come out once I get my calendar to sync with the server because it's having trouble. And those will come across and we will have those. I'm not going to put that out on a general calendar for everything. I'll probably just individually invite people, but if you're interested in coming to that, let me know. And I'll probably just reach out to the captains individually.
Your calendar is still syncing about working.
It's syncing. It's syncing about working. I don't know why. I only gave it 65 recurring calendar events. Just couldn't handle that. Struggle is real.
All right. Okay, anything else?
We are still moving forward with the native minions. I don't have quite a date in place just yet, but David Murphy and I think are going to talk about it tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have more next week and we'll just continue to keep everybody updated on what that timeline is going to look like. I think we have designated the internal resources on some things that need to happen. And so now we need to pick out some dates of what that looks like for them. And that should happen tomorrow. And so we'll just move forward. Keep plugging along at that plan.
Are we good? Is that code going to appear in master at some point, or is it just going to kind of magically appear at Silicon release?
Oh, that's a good question. David.
Of course.
Of course.
The phone rings as soon as somebody asks me a question. And I'm trying to stop it.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I thought this wasn't a comedy. It's a comedy all the time.
So actually, there's the only code for the native minions that's special is the build pipelines. Everything else in Salt is actually in Salt. There's no special Salt code as it currently stands. Everything that had been updated and changed has been merged in to, I think it was like 3002.
Oh,
So
what about like the Delta proxy code?
That would be Gareth.
Gareth is working about getting that into the code for Silicon.
Yeah, that will go into Silicon, into the master branch. And I actually have a PR open with the code changes. It just needs some tests.
So speaking of tests, Gareth and I were actually talking about this week. And so the working group for tests doesn't really have people or a captain, but it has lots of work. And so something that I've been thinking about doing and making it an asynchronous piece of work that anybody could go and work on and making a project board for it so that you could just pick it up and get started. That it's very easily just read. You could be like, oh, this is how I do a PyTest for this, or this is how I'm going to write tests for multiproxy, or this is how I'm going to do tests for this, or these are the tests that are broken. And I'm gonna really start putting that together because I think that is gonna be the best way to go. Yay. And something that we need to put together that I think we have in a variety of places, but Pedro, I'll just put a plug in your ear. We did some, like this is how you write tests and PyTest. And I think we have a recording. I'm wondering if we have that, I think we have that in the documentation and contributing. Is that right? Or is it somewhere else? No, Pedro.
Sorry,
Dad.
Zoom was not complying.
Oh, man, I hear you.
Yeah. So I missed your question while I was trying to grab focus on Zoom.
Totally fine. So how to write tests and PyTest. I think we have that done and we have a recording. The documentation for that, is it in contributing or is it a separate doc?
So
Go find it.
we did like a lunch and learn a while back. I think we have a recording of that. I'm not sure. We have minimal documentation with regards to PyTest, meaning when we switched, the examples were switched also to use PyTest, and we kept the old tests so that you could have like a before and after. So the old way of writing tests, the new way. And that's, I think, under development or developing. I think that's where that is. And with regards to documentation, with our switch to PyTest, we rely heavily on a PyTest plugin, which is PyTest Solve Factories, which is getting its own documentation revamped and, well, documented, actually. There was a lot missing. That's still not done, but it's partially done. So we have some examples there. They're minimal, though. Once that library has been evolving in a fast pace and in an unstable pace, but we have reached a point where as soon as we get the documentation side of it done, we will release it as a 1.0, and we will be following SimVer for the following releases. So we have some documentation, but the best examples that you can follow is actually the SaltTest suite. So tests under tests/PyTests, you will have some pretty good examples, and those there's a lot of tests that are being migrated to PyTest, so you have quite a few examples there.
Thank you, Pedro. Yes, I think I'm going to put all that stuff together in one spot in that working group project, maybe. Thinking, syncing. I'm thinking about it, and make that more asynchronous work that can just happen. I don't know when I'm going to get that done, but Janae and I'll figure it out.
Great. We can do
We're
it.
gonna do it. Because I think that's something that we may be the exact right chunk of work to do, just sort of asynchronously. And then, of course, the Slack channel and make things available. And then as we look at some other chunks of work that I think we still need to do with testing, it can either go into that work group or we'll start planning some more of those jams that we've done in the past. Speaking of that, I was talking with Elisa, who has come a few times. Elisa is a tech writer for SaltStack Enterprise, and she's wonderful. And she has some wonderful ideas. And we're going to think about a piece of work that talks about the table of contents and how that's structured today, and maybe what we can do to make that more navigable. And that is actually going to be, I think, eventually a docs jam. We need to do some work to get that ready. And so I don't know if we'll be able to do that in this release cycle, although I hope so. We're going to meet next week and find out if that'll fit in, and then and do that piece of work. It will be phased because it's a large, it would be a large project to rearrange how the table of contents work in the documentation and then where things live, potentially. And so that couldn't be done in one go, like a 1-day docs jam, but we could probably do pieces of it in docs jams in, you know, half days or days. So it's kind of exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So I just have to say that, Cody, I always think you're going to move because your picture is you sitting there at the camera. And I'm like, Cody is so still.
So still.
It's very sad.
Impressive. You would win the staring contest.
You win.
Very nice. No, thank you guys for joining us for the hour. We always have a fun group that joins, and appreciate the questions and glad we could review some things. Again, if there's a topic that you want to hit on, shoot us an email, saltproject@vmware.com. And of course, we're always at saltproject.io. And we will catch you guys next week. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you in May. Can't believe April's over. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday.